Good morning, televiewers, and welcome to this Thursday edition of The Brief, the program where we get to analyze major headlines captured by the papers in Cameroon. On today's edition of the program, we are revisiting the second session or ordinary session of Parliament, which wrapped up yesterday at the National Assembly and the Senate in Yaoundé, where the presidents of both houses urged Cameroonians to go vaccinate themselves against the COVID-19 pandemic. We shall equally talk about what is happening in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon. We are told by some newspapers that major ringleaders of Ambazonia or Ambazonia leaders abroad, some of them have started, quitting the struggle, citing that the struggles have been or has been hijacked by bandits. Those are some of the major headlines that caught our attention today, as you will be listening or hearing in the minutes ahead. Let's go find out what the French newspapers have for you or for us this morning with Audre ZATSA. Bonjour Audrey.
Bonjour LASHA Kingsley, bonjour fidèles téléspectateurs. Commençons avec le journal La Capitale Publique Cameroun Tribune qui à sa une parle de la session parlementaire et où les vaccinations contre le coronavirus ont été encouragées par le Parlement. Les présidents du Sénat et l'Assemblée nationale ont invité les Camerounais à faire fi des informations malveillantes véhiculées par les réseaux sociaux et à se faire vacciner en vue de l'éradication complète de cette pandémie, une exhortation qui coïncidait avec le lancement de la campagne nationale élargie. Vous aurez ample information dans la page 6 à 7 de Cameroun Tribune. Poursuivons avec Info Matin qui parle du Made in Cameroun, la promotion en tout cas du Made in Cameroun. Les recommandations ont été faites par le ministre du Commerce Luc Magloire Mbarga aux agriculteurs, éleveurs et artisans du département de la Mefoué à Kono à l'occasion de l'ouverture de la foire agro-pastorale de Bicoque. Donc les produits doivent inonder. Ils ont fait savoir que les produits Made in Cameroun doivent inonder les marchés africains. Vous aurez plus d'informations dans les pages 2 à 4 de Info Matin. Dans le jour de Amanmana, c'est les réseaux sociaux, le nu se banalise. Cette information, la dernière en date, en tout cas, c'est celle des hommes en tenue qui ont été appréhendés ou alors qui ont filmé un groupe de personnes attrapées en pleine séance de partout à Douala. La vidéo a donc inondé les réseaux sociaux récemment, donc le 6 juillet. Les sources révèlent que les personnes en question, donc les hommes en tenue et même ceux qui s'adonnaient à ces actes-là ont été mis aux arrêts sur instruction du ministre de la Défense et ensuite relâchés. Et voilà, et on termine avec le journal Défi Actuel. Le secteur mineur au Cameroun tarde à décoller malgré l'attribution de plusieurs licences pour des projets importants. Ces retards sont préjudiciables pour les finances publiques tandis que les entreprises minières internationales se remplissent les poches sans exploiter le moindre minéral. L'exploitation minière, l'arnaque des multinationales, c'est le titre que propose Défi Actuel. Vous aurez donc l'enquête, vous lirez l'enquête de Défi Actuel dans les pages 2 à 3 de l'édition en kiosque ce matin. Voilà, mesdames, messieurs, pour les tabloïds en langue française. Place à toi, LASHA Kingsley en anglais.
Thank you, Audre ZATSA. Let's kickstart this morning with the Herald Tribune newspaper. The Herald Tribune, of course, is interested in the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Diaspora Ambazonia warlord resigns. According to the paper, the warlord says struggle hijacked by bandits. For that reason, he has decided to quit the struggle. One of those ringleaders abroad, as you get in this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper, is no longer involved in the struggle for the virtual Republic of Ambazonia, or the former northwest and southwest regions of the country, now known by those who want that state as Ambazonia. You can get more details about the name and the reasons of the set Ambazonia diaspora warlord who has finally resigned. Only in this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper, the Herald is also interested in the recent outing of the Defense Ministry of Cameroon. We are told by the paper that Defense Ministry reacts to killing of civilian and associates the civilian with separatists in the northwest region of the country. The said civilian, who was reportedly shot dead at a checkpoint below Foncha in Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of the country. The killing, which provoked a riot by irate population of that neighborhood in Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon. The paper is also revisiting the final journey to eternity of the late Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon, the Right Honorable Simon Achidi Achu. He was given a befitting burial over the weekend. That was on Saturday in his native Santa village. More details in this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper. The Post Weekender, on its part, is interested in the 2022-2024 budget orientation. Government highlights Northwest-Southwest reconstruction and the acceleration of decentralization. The paper says further that the government of Cameroon, through the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Moutaze, says the implementation of the presidential plan for the reconstruction of the Northwest, Southwest and the far north region of Cameroon will be prioritized when budgeting for 2022-2024. This is the substance of a proposed bill tabled in a plenary sitting on budgetary orientation that was in Parliament a few days ago. It was chaired by the Senate or the Senior Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Hilary Eton. Apart from implementing the presidential reconstruction plan, Paul Moutaze said amongst the priority projects to be pursued during the 2022-2024, the expediting of the decentralization process, as well as the pursuit of the process of implementing a policy on universal health care coverage, and the book policy will be top on the priority, or will be top on the budget of the Republic of Cameroon for that period. Let's also talk about these recent sanctions that were meted out or issued against some journalists in the country. The National Communication Council, according to the paper, the newly appointed or the newly installed President George Ebonke Kalibopse has sanctioned 3 journalists for unethical practices in the sector. You can get more details about the names and those that were targeted by the NCCC only in this edition of the Post Weekender newspaper. Let's talk about the visit of Secondary Education Minister Pauline Nalova Lionga, who was in the southwest region of the country. The secondary education boss wants GTHS Ombe refurbished. According to the paper, the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Pauline Nalova Lionga, has said that the government cannot abandon Government Technical High School GTHS Ombe. The minister was speaking on Wednesday, July 7, during a visit to the age-old school, one of the heralds of technical education in Anglophone Cameroon. Talking to the press after his visit, she expected the ultra-modern structure, or the story building that is under construction, to be complete very soon. The GTHS Ombe is said to be, or to have been, opened in 1952, and it is one of the oldest technical institutions in the English-speaking part of Cameroon, and has the reputation to have trained most of the renowned technicians and engineers that Cameroon can boast of today. More details about the visit of Pauline Nalova Lionga, the Minister of Secondary Education of Cameroon, only in this edition of the Post Weekender newspaper. We end with the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post newspaper this morning is interested in the life of Chairman Nijon Frundi. According to the paper, Nijon Frundi gets towering accolades as he clocks 80. The chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party SDF Nijon Frundi, who is currently on medical treatment in the United Kingdom, clocked 80 years yesterday. And according to the paper, Amiras within and without the SDF describe him as a living legend of Cameroonian politics and father of Cameroon's democracy. More in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And the Guardian Post is also reporting on the story which made headline in Cameroon Tribune a few days ago, talking about a church member in Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon, who has vamoosed with over 18 million francs CFA church construction money. According to the paper, a member of a church in Douala, littoral region of Cameroon, is reported to have disappeared into the unknown with over 18 million francs CFA. The money was reportedly meant to build a new house of God. Reports hold that the member, identified only as Nkona, disappeared with a set sum on Sunday, July 4, 2021. The amount is said to have been saved for over 15 months. The funds was reportedly withdrawn as construction works on the said new church project were expected to start off very soon. The pastor of the said church, who reportedly launched the project in April 2020, is said to have ordered for works to begin immediately. The said sum, which was required or reportedly saved in a microfinance institution in Douala, is said to have been withdrawn on Sunday, June 27, and handed over to the said church member who reportedly disappeared with the money. Let's end with this headline talking about French courts that has slammed sentences on anti-beer protester. According to the paper, some activists movement better as anti-Sabina bars have been slammed months of suspended sentences in France. A court in the French capital, Paris, passed the verdict Monday, July 5, 2021. The activists were sentenced for invading Cameroon's embassy in France. The French justice system gave its verdict more than 2 months or 2.5 months after the said event, which took place at the Cameroon's embassy in France. Amongst them is Robert Wanto, alias General Wanto, who received a suspended sentence of 3 months, and equally Abdoulaye Thiam, better known as Calibru, was also sentenced. Thank you for watching, televiewers. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning, and we are receiving a human rights defender, Tanteh AMADU, who is always with us here. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. LASHA, and good morning, Madam Audre. Thank you very much for inviting me on your program today.
So how is the human rights situation of Cameroon?
The human rights situation of Cameroon remains very deplorable. The situation is very absurd. We are confused on what is going on, because we're expecting a lot to be done in the nearest future by our government due to the happening things we keep seeing in the Cameroon on a daily basis. But yet our government is keep maintaining silence to what we are expecting the government to do.
Let's start with this recent communique that was issued by Navy Colonel Siri Search at Tanteh, who is the head of communication unit at the Ministry of Defense of Cameroon, regarding or concerning an individual that was shot dead reportedly by the military at a checkpoint in Bamenda.
So when I look at the communique of the Mr. Cyril Tanteh, I was very surprised and embarrassed because I noted some few points on this issue. When the first on the communique, they tried to tell us that what happened was that the man, Mr. Jibril, attempted to run away or to dodge the checkpoint to avoid being arrested by these people, and they used force on him. According to the investigation, our collaborators are carrying on the ground. The first information we have is that the car that was attacked, that man was attacked in, is still being parked at the checkpoint. Well packed. That is to say, what the first information from the government is completely unfounded. And secondly, we equally said about the issue of the government said the man, Mr. Jibril, was sentenced since November, on the 4th of November, and there was a warrant of arrest against him issued on the 20th of November. This one, I don't know if it is true or not, but if this one is confirmed to be true, then our government is still going a long way to embarrass herself to tell us on things.
How do you sentence somebody and then you issue ID card to them? Because one on him was a receipt for application to obtain the national identity card. But he went to the police to do that. Why was he not arrested? Why is that? He had the cartons with him. He went to the police and obtained his ID card. So why was he not arrested?
That's exactly the reason why I'm saying that the government has instead ridiculed herself with the communique that came out. It was preferable for the government to stay silent as they used to do on other cases, because we have other cases like what happened or what have been happening in Anglophone regions and other areas that the government has always maintained silence, because it's preferable to maintain silence and to embarrass yourself, because it's unreasonable to say that somebody was issued a warrant of arrest, meanwhile the person is moving freely on town without being disturbed on anything. I don't know if this one was what the government intended to do. Maybe they intended to use another means to kill him according to what they are saying, but I don't already understand what it's about. But it's ridiculous for the government to come out and tell us that somebody who is moving freely in town there was warrant arrest against such person.
Okay, do you want to say something?
I just want to find out. I mean, does it mean the man was shot for nothing? Like, no, they were not suspecting him of anything?
From the communique,
from the communique of the government, they are saying that he was a secessionist, that he was collaborating with a secessionist. He was
a scammer,
and all the government have called him all sort of.
So that's what I'm asking. If you think the government did not do enough investigation to actually maybe believe that this man was, with secessionists.
At the end of the communique, there's something that's written there. The government has clearly said that they will continue with their investigation, but we don't even know where they are coming with whatsoever they are from what the things they are telling us on the beginning. Even if the man was a secessionist or he was a scammer as they claim in the communique, there has no reason to kill him. All these things they are saying, we don't really understand what is happening. But what I said and I'm still saying is that his car is being well parked at the checkpoint. And we have seen numerous circumstances where the armed police have killed civilians and the population has come out to denounce the same thing that was done by the population, the same day, meaning that the government, it's very clear that these people shot the man intentionally. So even though investigation is still going on, but we continue to condemn all these things. So we don't have to end here with condemning all these things. We have to
was it a warrant of arrest or a death warrant?
No, a warrant of arrest. What we say,
why was he shot dead?
That is why we are confused. So the government is.
But is there anything like warrant of death?
The death warrant. Yes, the death warrant. There's a death sentence. There's a death sentence.
Okay. Let's stay within.
Let me ask the last question, please. Okay. Does it mean in Cameroon, who are we supposed to be afraid of? Are we supposed to be afraid of the military people or the secessionists?
The issue is that we should be at the middle. We should be afraid of everybody. Anyone that you sense any danger, he can in one way or the other be dangerous to you. So you have to avoid each suspect. But we don't have to spend our time attacking these people, saying that today the government said that this one has done by this one, to try to justify the killings, the destruction, and all this. All these things are really unnecessary. We are continuously praying for dialogue, because the only way to solve this crisis is dialogue. Our coalition, the coalition of civil society, human rights organizations for peace in Anglophone regions and other affected regions, that was created in 29 December 2019 in Babusam. We have been working on so many reports, and among other the report, there was a recommendation which I think is very important. I've said it here, but I did not elaborate well on it. The issue of a dialogue. The government called the other parts of dialogue table so that I can solve solution to this problem. We made it very clear that for this dialogue to be successful, Cameroon government needs to do everything possible to guarantee an intra-Anglophone dialogue. That's to make sure that the Anglophone leaders within themselves, they sit down and come out with a resolution. With this resolution, we equally try to sort or choose some of the leaders who will go in for the dialogue when the right time comes. Because if we allow the Cameroon government to choose those who they think that they can dialogue with, it might solve the crisis we are going through now, but it might not solve the Anglophone problem. So that's why we are praying that the government should do everything possible to ensure that this crisis is solved and resolved as fast as possible. Because we are still foreseeing a lot of dangers in the days ahead if this crisis is not resolved as soon as possible.
Okay, let's talk about this nude video that went viral on the social media in Cameroon. Some certain individuals were arrested. They were having group sex. They were arrested long ago and then later released. And then after some time we found Cameroonian walk up and then saw the videos of these individuals circulating on the social media. The video purportedly sent out by gendarmerie officers, law enforcement officers, tending to be those breaking the laws. How does this add up?
Normally what we know is that recording and sharing nudity videos of someone is unacceptable. But the law is completely against that. The Cameroon Penal Code punishes all such things. Cameroon is equally a member of the CAT, the Convention, the United Nations Convention against torture, cruel and inhuman and degrading treatment. So the Cameroon, I think now it's the responsibility of the Cameroon government to make sure that the gendarmes who are involved in these acts are arrested and prosecuted accordingly. Even though the government, they told us yesterday that these people have been arrested, but we are praying that the government should ensure that these people face the justice.
Should these people in the first place, should it have even been filmed? I mean, invading their privacy. Don't you think, you are a lawyer, it is good you tell our televiewers, what does the law say about this kind of stuff? They were in their privacy, in their home, doing their thing in their home, and they were invaded by police officers. Claire, can you tell us more?
It is true that in principle, you have no right to invade in someone's residence without the consent of the person, though there are exceptional circumstances on everything. Or in this particular situation, what we are working on them is the issue of recording the nudity of this.
Tell us what does the law say about group sex or things like that? Even pornography in the country. Is there any legislation concerning pornography? If you want to open up something, a company or whatever, to shoot pornography movies, you need to go apply, or probably get the authorization. Can we be clear on this, please?
No, some of these things, as per the common law, what I know very well is that anything that has to do with maybe pornography or what, all these type of things are banned and interdicted by the common law. If anyone who is caught practicing those things is going to be prosecuted, that even who is benefiting from the money that is reaped from that activities, you will be punishable to that effect.
Et quand on regarde justement les articles du Code pénal 263, 264 et 65 précisément, qui parlent de dépravation de mœurs et autres, qu'est-ce qu'on peut finalement dire par rapport à toute cette prolifération des nudes qui ne cessent d'être partagés sur les réseaux sociaux? Et bien sûr, il faut le rappeler que recevoir une photo ou alors une vidéo de ce type, partager et même la garder, c'est punissable par la loi.
That's the issue. The problem is that our Cameroon government has been applying this issue of immunity on many citizens. People who are doing things but they are not arrested and prosecuted. And when you give the people that image, when someone does something, you know that this thing is not right, instead of arresting and prosecuting the person accordingly, allow the person to allow the victim, the criminal to be moving around town. When you are moving, that is encourage others to do such things. They know very well that nothing will be done to them, same as it was not done to you, it will not be done to me.
Dans ce cas précis, si peut-être les personnes qui s'adonnaient à ces actes-là, qui se faisaient filmer par des autorités camerounaises, si ils attaquaient en retour, est-ce qu'ils devaient être punis également?
Yes, no, you don't take justice for it. If you say that you don't take justice in your
hand. Quand je dis attaquer, oui, je dis, enfin, ils peuvent se réunir tous et dire, non mais attendez, vous n'avez pas le droit de nous filmer.
Well, that's what we are saying. I said that everything will have principle and you're going to have exceptions. If you have the right to defend yourself, self-defense is a right. It's a human right. If you see that anything, whatsoever somebody is doing will bring you, in fact, will challenge your dignity or whatsoever, you have the right to defend yourself.
Yeah. Should they have in the first place invaded their privacy?
I made it very clear here that normally the law says that you have no right to invade someone's privacy without the consent of the owner of the residence. But to a certain circumstance, we have exceptional circumstances where you have the right to invade even
did the judge probably order, or the state council gave the order for them to come there?
Exactly. You see
Was there any preliminary investigation established that those guys were involved in criminal act before those gendarmes came there?
Actually, that is why we don't know for now. We are still investigating on all this. We don't know exactly if there was anything as such.
But from what we read all over social media, it's like it was a setup, like somebody amongst the group called another person.
Which means that the gendarmes they have to go down for.
Exactly. That's why we heard yesterday that
it's only the judge, it's only the state council, whoever that can issue such express, a warrant of arrest for people's privacy to be invaded.
It's true. So that's why we heard yesterday that the Minister of Defense ordered for the arrest of these gendarmes. The gendarmes were arrested. So the issue is not that they should be arrested. The problem is that we want justice, so that others will learn sense from this. So next time, these people will not continue to do this type of thing. Because most of these people, gendarmes are military people, they commit crimes and go hit free. Because they have immunity. That's why most of them continue to commit all this type of atrocities, knowing very well that they will not be detained same as like other citizens.
LASHA Kingsley, tu ne remarques pas que depuis le début de cette année, on a tellement de cas comme ça. Yes. On a encore une dame qui...
Has the devil taken over?
Qu'est-ce qui se passe dans la tête des Camerounais?
I keep saying that the problem is the government. The government has, in fact, the place of the government to make sure that all those who are accused of anything as such are arrested and prosecuted accordingly.
Okay.
Yes.
To deter others.
To deter others. But if you don't do that, you keep giving the others the impression that they have the right. So maybe it's a right. Maybe though it might be punishable by the law, but if you do it and go, that man did it and go free, the other one did it and go free, then I can equally do it and go free without facing any problem.
On rappelle que l'affaire du journaliste de notre confrère Martin
Thank you, Audre, ZATSA.
exactement ce qui s'est passé finalement.
We have come to the end of this program.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much.
Love your
It was a
insight
pleasure.
for today's program. Hope to have you some other time on this same platform. Thank you for watching television. The program was produced by Christain TEBONG. For presentation, we've been Audre, ZATSA, and myself, LASHA Kingsley, as usual. Bye bye. See you tomorrow for yet another edition of What the Papers Must Have Said.